Hello, nerds! Thank you for joining me here on Nerd News Clips. This is the second channel. This is the place for all of the short-form content as well as the individual sections and just generally speaking smaller things. If you are into the longer form content, youtube.com/generallynerdy is the place to go see that. With that out of the way, let's get into this. Okay, so comic books and books. We are going to be including this section in the syndicated show this week because it is exceptionally small, but also I feel like the one piece of news that we have in here is something that if you don't know already, you should, as well as I really appreciate the suggestion for this section. So, welcome to the comic books and books section. If you are not accustomed to this normally, then this is on the usual show, on the main show every week, just not on the syndicated version of the main show. So, we have no follow-ups, no corrections, we have no trailers to speak of. We do have a piece of news that sucks, but it is something that must be said. We have Jeph Loeb, who, if you don't know who he is, he's the artist that worked on one of the greatest Batman stories of all. He works regularly with Tim Sale, but the big one is The Long Halloween. He was the artist on The Long Halloween. He's done a plethora of other works since. All of it is phenomenal. He is kind of the iconic 80s into 90s Batman artist. That's the guy that created the look. He is in the hospital. It is pretty serious from the sounds of it, though I was unable to find anyway what exactly is the reason for him to be in the hospital. It is being said, though, that he has severe health issues. So, I mean, if you believe in such things, then, you know, put out the good energy into the universe and whatnot, because he's a titan of the industry and he deserves a lot more recognition than he's got. So hopefully he can stick around and get that. So that is our piece of news. Again, a little bit of a downer, but it needs to be shared. We need to know these things. So, comic books and books suggestion. The suggestion is actually a book suggestion this time. And it's one that I think is a little less known from its author. We're talking about Count Zero from William Gibson. Gibson is one of my top 3 authors of all time. He wrote Neuromancer. Count Zero is technically the, quote, sequel to Neuromancer. It is the second of the Sprawl trilogy because Gibson is one that writes in trilogies, only not intentionally or not directly. I don't know. It's a weird situation. It's a fantastic book, though. It absolutely needs to be read. And if you are familiar with the story of the Neuromancer and you haven't read this yet, there's going to be a lot of pieces that come together that really give you a fresh appreciation for the first book, Neuromancer. So go read William Gibson's Count Zero because it is cyberpunk at its best. Once again, this has been just a brief segment from the larger episode that has been posted over on the main channel, youtube.com/generallynerdy. Go over there for the long form content or just subscribe here if you want it in bite-sized chunks. Thank you very much for joining me, nerds. We'll see you in the next one. Before we go though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.